Good afternoon. From Nyeri to Murang'a, Kiambu to Nakuru, the Sagana 3 is on today. President Uhuru Kenyatta is leading opinion and political leaders from the larger Mount Kenya region in what is likely to shape the politics of this country 167 days to the next general election. We'd like to hear your thoughts in regards to the meeting. This as the Kenya Kwanza is today in the county of Makueni. In Nyeri, we have John Jacob Kioria. In Makueni, we have Nancy Okware. We'll be joining them live in this bulletin. My name is Irene Muchuma Odim. On sign language interpretation, we have Lensa Odingo. Now, the government has warned individuals abetting exams malpractice of dire consequences as the country prepares for the national examinations period. Trans Nzoia County Commissioner Sam Ojwang has at the same time cautioned parents to be wary of frauds pretending to have the exams at a fee.
Plans for the national examinations in Trans Nzoia County are in high gear, with over 50,000 candidates set to sit their national examinations this year across the county. Addressing the press after meeting with education stakeholders in the region, the Area County Commissioner Sam Ojwang said they have put in place measures to have a malpractice-free examination season.
Hakuna compromise on delivery of exams that are free of cheating or free of malpractices. Hata kutofikisha mtihani kwa wakati unaofaa ama kwa kufail kutii maagizo ama zile mpangilio ambazo zimewekwa, pia hiyo haitakubalika.
Ojwang put on notice those planning to involve themselves in cheating and conning parents that they will meet the full force of the law.
Anybody ambaye anahusika na the management of exams, myself, county commissioner, deputy county commissioner, the security sector players, the education sector players, all of us, hakuna compromise on discipline, hakuna compromise on the delivery of these exams.
Yusufar reporting for Lunchtime News.
School Board of Management and Administration have been directed to prioritize completion of CBC classrooms to accommodate 2 cohorts of students expected to join junior secondary school soon, launching the first CBC classroom and a tuition block at Ibacho High School in Masaba South. Regional Director of Education RDE for Nyanza, Willie Machocho, disclosed the county had achieved 86% completion rate. Construction of 2 more classrooms initially allocated to the school was underway. Machocho pointed out there was urgent need to suspend other ongoing projects to pave way for faster completion of the classrooms, adding the school required 12 others by next year on the new curriculum.
By the time we are starting our examinations, we'll have completed all the CBC classrooms. We'll have completed construction of all the CBC classrooms that we have in the whole region and also in this sub-county. And we require the assistance of each and everyone so that at least we make sure that we are done.
Over 3,000 residents of the hunger-stricken area of Ngomeni in Mwingi North constituency, Kitui County, have received food donation courtesy of a non-governmental organization. The locals, while lauding the kind gesture, urged the government to take cue and supply them with the much-needed relief food.
Residents of Ngomeni in Mwingi North constituency, Kitui County, and which lies along the border between Kitui and Tana River counties, had a reason to smile after receiving food supplies from David Musila Foundation. The food donation included 400 bales of maize and wheat flour, with over 3,000 residents set to benefit. Residents said the good gesture could not have come at a better time, given that most of the crops they had planted had failed.
Hata mbegu hatuna, hatunjui tutapanda nini. Sasa ile nataka kusema serikali isikie, sisi hatuna la kupanya. Ni lazima Watuangalie kama tutapanda mbegu, tupande, na tukipanda chakula hakuna.
Elsewhere, pastoralists in Samburu County are counting losses following the prolonged drought in the region. According to the residents, the drought situation in the area has affected livestock markets, with many animals at risk of dying.
Hapa Samburu saa hizi kuna jirali ambayo imetumaliza, ng'ombe zimeisha, mbuzi naye bei naye hakuna. Ng'ombe hata sasa hivi ukiangalia kwa soko ng'ombe venye zinakaa, sasa watu wanaumia kabisa.
Ng'ombe sasa hizi wale ng'ombe zilikuwa tunauza mbeleni 20,000 ama 30,000, sasa hizi mtu unapata hata na 3,000 na 2,000. So tunaomba serikali kuu wakuja watusaidie kabisa. Sisi hapa tunanunua nyasi kila uchao.
3 Bomet County gubernatorial aspirants, among them a former governor, have buried their political differences and vowed to work together in the forthcoming general election. The 3 Bomet County, Hilary Barchok, who is the area governor at the moment, former Petroleum Chief Administrative Secretary John Mosonik, and former Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto met in Bomet during a consultative meeting ahead of the county prayer day slated for 26th of this month.
Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok, who is eyeing the gubernatorial seat on a UDA ticket, former Chief Administrative Secretary John Mosonik, also banking his bid on UDA, and Chama cha Mashinani leader and former Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto, agreed to bury the hatchet for the sake of the local electorate.
We've committed ourselves to ensure that we carry ourselves with decorum, that in all our meetings we shall not mention our competitors' names in any derogatory manner. We will maintain that discipline, and because in any case we are seniors in this county as elders also, we cannot afford to show a bad example.
The 3 aspirants, who met in a consultative meeting organized by the Top Country Clergy and Mayot Council of Elders, agreed to work harmoniously during the campaign period and to support whoever will clinch the governorship in next election.
Member of County Assembly.
Any one of us, and when I talk of any one of us, Isaac, Engineer Mosonik, MB aspirant, MCA aspirant, even the wale ambao wanataka kuwa president, they are very free, watembelee eneo lolote katika kaunti yetu ya Bomet without any restriction, and we will respect ile msimamo mtatoa kama wananchi.
There has been a fierce supremacy battle between the 3 and their supporters. The elders from the community had to intervene following a huge public outcry.
I think this is a very, very historic meeting. We have discussed various issues, and all these actually are centering on peace, and especially we're going forward during this election period. Now, what we urge our supporters is to make sure that any campaign we should be able to do and let the other aspirants actually be able to articulate their issues, their policies, without any interference.
Of politicians allied to the Jubilee Party is pushing for joint nominations within the Azimio la Umoja setup. The group says fielding a single candidate will bolster their chances of winning the desired seats and upsetting their political opponents.
Speaking in Dagoretti, Nairobi, the leaders said they cannot afford to head into the general elections divided.
Kutoka 2013 mpaka 2018, Ministry of Agriculture ilikuwa katika mrengo ya URP katika Jubilee. Sasa wewe saa hii ndio umejua bei ya chakula na ulikuwa waziri wa Agriculture for the last 15 years.
They said it will be prudent to unite behind ODM leader Raila Odinga and avert a fallout.
Wao wamejaribu usiku na mchana kuvunja uhusiano kati ya Mheshimiwa Rais na Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Nyinyi wana Jubilee pamoja na sisi watu wa ODM tulielewa maana ya handshake ya kwamba pasipo na umoja wa watu wetu hakuna chochote ambacho kinaweza kufanyika.
Parties allied to the Azimio la Umoja are edging closer to thrashing out a deal that will formalize their alliance. For Lunchtime News, I'm Zainab Said.
And religious leaders from the North Rift region have expressed concern over the current war of words between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, saying it is a big threat to national peace. The clergy says the frosty relationship is ill-timed.
As the country gears towards the general election, religious leaders are calling on the president and his deputy to reconcile for the sake of peace.
Kenyans are yet to settle down, and the whole nation is already in a campaign mode. Political campaigns have now gained momentum, with the political parties hunting for votes by dividing Kenyans in different sides with their political rhetorics. We are deeply concerned the way the fallout between the president and his deputy is causing tensions among the communities.
Tunaomba sisi kama Peace Committee, niko na viongozi wangu hapa na kama viongozi wa kanisa, tumeamua tunaenda kufanya mikutano hata ya kuwaongelesha hawa wanasiasa wapendane.
Speaking after a consultative forum in Kitale on upcoming elections, the clergy led by NCCK officials Bishop Agri Olumola and Imam Mohammed Diko called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to go slow on his succession politics and instead give Kenyans a chance to elect leaders of their choice.
The political elite continue to paralyze the nation more and more, exposing citizens to further moral decay. It is a high time we began interrogating ourselves.
The clergy called on Kenyans to be patient and practice peaceful politics that will not hurt any community in the country. Beatrice Gatonyengetich, Lunchtime News.
Small-scale businessmen from Bungoma County have been challenged to venture into maize farming that is lucrative in the area to uplift their livelihoods. Bishop Julius Kithome of East African Sub-Sahara Safe Promotion says posho meal business in the area like Buchai and also other areas in the sub-county of Buchai can turn around livelihoods if only those who have ventured into the business plant maize to serve their meals.
Cluster members from Bungoma County have been urged to venture into maize farming as the area was suitable for the venture and ready market from the locals. Bishop Julius Kithome of East African Sub-Saharan Safe Promotions said posho meal business in the area like Kabuchai sub-county has great potential if only those in the business feed their meals directly from the farms.
Increase your capacity in the production of maize so that we can get maize flour. You know.
Cleopas Wanjala, county coordinator of the organization, pointed out at more than 12 cluster groups in the region that have already taken up posho meal business.
Najua hisi biashara ya posho meal hapa yenyewe iko na competition. Sasa bila iko na competition, sasa kama hawa wana kikundi wangu, kitu ya kwanza wewe wenyewe wao wakulima wakutafuta hiyo mahindi. Akishalima hiyo mahindi wenyewe wakiwekee kwa store ili wakati ya kushaka wanatoa mahindi yao wakiuzia watu wenye wanakuja kushaka. Hiyo itawasaidia.
He said shortage of supply of maize could be a blow to the venture as farmers in the region have shifted to sugarcane farming.
Na tunataka itusaidie kupanuka biashara na tena isaidie watoto wetu kuwafunza ili tupate manufaa zaidi.
Ruth Wamboi for Lunchtime News.
Isiolo County has unveiled a gender policy that will govern the process of implementation of various projects and programs that are gender-specific within the county. The policy has been achieved through partnership between the County Department of Gender and Social Services and a host of development partners in a process that lasted 4 years. Speaking during the launch ceremony, Isiolo County Secretary Hamid Galgalo said that the policy will also help in addressing matters such as gender-based violence, female genital mutilation, and early marriages through establishment of rescue centers. Isiolo becomes the 5th county to launch the gender policy after Meru, Makueni, Migori, and Kisumu counties.
Especially the women, right? So this policy will now really help to ensure that the issues of domestic violence against women, against girl child, against those kind of things will be eliminated.
The county will ensure that women get into the leadership positions, whether through nomination, through appointive positions. I think is very, very
who are hell-bent on using the media to spread lies for selfish gains.
Mbeere South MP Geoffrey Kingangi has threatened to sue a local daily for publishing untruths about his constituency development fund.
This is a grave matter for people to fabricate or to distort information. And for that matter, I'm asking for an apology within 7 days, after which we will meet in court.
It was alleged that the Mbeere South CDF board allocated monies to fictitious bursary funds to a tune of 23 million shillings.
The matter, the letter from the Auditor General was clear enough. The item was bursaries, and the query was about 2 million, and it was about the receipts. That is all.
The lawmaker has called on relevant investigative agencies to ascertain whether money was lost. Kingangi cautioned the media against being conduits of settled political scores. Jacqueline Masharia, Lunchtime News.
Veterinaries have accused Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya for failing to constitute the Kenya Veterinary Board. The practitioners claim they have waited for over 2 years for a board to guide their operations to be put in place, but in vain.
The practitioners have given the ministry 2 days to put in place a board or they hold demonstrations. They wonder how the ministry can keep quiet for 2 years, yet it has the responsibility to put in place a board. The practitioners are also demanding that the 2 levels of government stop double licensing and taxation of members who have already been licensed by the Kenya Veterinary Directorate to operate.
Stop requiring permits for veterinary practices and other establishments which have been given license by Kenya Veterinary Board, by Veterinary Medicine Directorate.
Our bodies, and this is a warning, if that is not happening, we shall hit the streets in the next 2 weeks. Yes. We will march all the way from Turkana, from Mandera, from Garissa, yes, from Kilifi, from Namanga, from Alaba, all the way to the capital city.
The board is expected to improve service delivery of its officers. For Lunchtime News, I'm Brian Muindi.
Malindi town residents now want the Sabaki Waterworks revived to supplement the water produced at the giant Baricho Waterworks, which is shared by both Kilifi and Mombasa counties. The area residents have also threatened to hold demonstrations in the tourist metropolis following an acute water shortage in the region.
Led by human rights activists Tembo Kaviha and Malindi Tuk-Tuk Drivers Association Chairman Abdallah Mwangi, the residents have given the Coast Water Development Agency and the Malindi Water and Sewerage Company MAWASCO a 2 weeks ultimatum to solve the water crisis in the region.
Najua maji iko katika wizara fulani. So kama watu watakosa huduma upande wa maji, ina maana wale washikadau, the leaders in that ministry ni kwamba wamelala. Na kama hawaiwezi hiyo wizara watoke.
Tunakunywa maji ya mtoni ambayo yameoza, watu wanaoga, wanakunya, wengine hata wamekufa. Mwozo ndio tunakunywa.
The residents further want the national government to take over running of water services in the area, claiming the county government has failed.
Tunaomba serikali ikiwezekana iingilie kati. Hii serikali ya county, serikali ya ugatuzi inaonyesha kwamba ni kama ambaye imelemewa na hii idara. Kwa hivyo serikali kuu tunaiomba iingilie kati ili iweze kutatua hii kazi.
The MAWASCO Managing Director Gerard Mwambire, however, said the water crisis was as a result of broken pumps at the waterworks. He assured the residents that technicians were doing their best to fix the problem. Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
The county government of Narok has signed an agreement with the Integral Media Solutions that will see students at technical and vocational education training TVET institutes in the county linked to job opportunities through a digital platform. Take a look.
Speaking at the county government headquarters, Integral Media Director Ashington Gigi said that the digital technology will aid the students connect to the employers, hence reducing incidences of unemployment in the country.
Wengi wao wako nyumbani wakishindwa watapata kazi namna gani. This digital technology can assist them to get connected not only to corporate employers, but also to households who may be requiring their technical expertise.
Elsewhere, in Tana River, Galole MP Said Haribai has urged the youth to acquire skills in TVETs for self-employment.
Nataka sasa wale ambao wamepata D, wale ambao wamepata C, wale ambao hawakupata kwenda university, lazima tuwaweke katika hizo colleges, pia wapate ufundi ambao watajisimamia nao katika maisha yao bila kutafuta kazi ya kuandikwa. Wao wenyewe wae mafundi na wajikimu katika maisha yao.
The MP was speaking in Majengo village when he launched a football tournament to sensitize the youth against drug abuse.
The Sagana meeting is underway. The president is already in the county of Nyeri. It is a meeting that is coming barely 24 hours before Jubilee and ODM conducts their National Delegates Conventions meeting. We are taking a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
The government of Kenya adopted universal health coverage UHC as one of the big four priority agenda with an aspiration that by 2022 all citizens will have access to quality healthcare services that they need without getting into financial hardships. Don't suffer in silence. Visit the nearest healthcare facility and access affordable healthcare services that are now offered under the universal health coverage benefit package delivered through NHIF. For those who can afford, please remember to pay the monthly contribution of 500 shillings. The government has put mechanisms for assisting those who cannot afford to pay. Register biometrically at the nearest NHIF office. Your family's health matters to us. NHIF. Leave no one behind.
To all our prospective candidates, are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
In October 1956, the most wanted Mau Mau fighter of all, Dedan Kimathi, was captured, then tried and executed. The war against the gangs was all but over. Officially, more than 11,000 Mau Mau had been killed. Those left in the forest posed no real threat.
Thank you for staying with us. Time for Channel 1 Business News. The government will withdraw bank guarantees for contractors who delay projects under the presidential flagship programs. The projects spread in roads, markets, housing are being implemented throughout the country as President Kenyatta's legacy projects. The Presidential Delivery Unit, which is tasked with overseeing the implementation of these projects, has decried the slow pace of implementation by contractors.
The warning comes at a time when some contractors are behind schedule in commencing construction of some key projects in the country. In Siaya, 2 companies contracted to upgrade to bitumen standard are yet to break ground despite the contractors receiving partial payment for the projects. Siaya County Commissioner Mohamed Bare has given Gogni Rajope Construction Company Limited and Seabird Engineering Services Limited 1 week to start working on the project.
And we expect all the cooperation from the wananchi who will live along those roads, because this is for them, done by their government. So we expect the list of challenges. And as
Gogni Rajope and Seabird Engineering are undertaking 12 kilometers of Got Nanga Bar Oberry Road. Presidential Delivery Unit Director Richard Tuta has said President Uhuru Kenyatta is keen to see implementation of these flagship projects and any delays on the projects will not be accepted. Tuta has added that Gogni Rajope Construction Company Limited has already been paid 29.5 million shillings for mobilization to enable it to move to the site along Got Nanga Bar Oberry Road, whose contract sum is 1 billion, and Seabird Engineering Services Limited has already pocketed 34 million Kenya shillings as an advance payment for mobilization.
When we are here after next week, there are certain kind of cautionary measures that the PDU may want to take such that we see things move on.
For Channel 1 News, my name is Nduta Mukami.
National Irrigation Authority has commenced phase 1 of the stalled Rwabura Irrigation Development Project, which promises to provide an all-year-round water supply to Kiambu County and its environs. NIA Project Manager, Engineer Vincent Kabuti, says the 750 million shillings project is set to benefit over 15,000 farmers, boosting the country's food production significantly.
The Rabura irrigation project is being implemented in 3 phases with a completion date of December 2022. The project will include the construction of water intake towers from Thiririka and Rabura rivers, conveyance pipelines, mainland tanks traversing 1,500 acres of land, and irrigation kits to farmers and offices. The dam has stalled for close to 10 years before it was revived in 2010. Vincent Kabuti, the project manager, notes the first phase will target 1,500 acres of land and will be accessible to 3,000 farmers.
As we proceed with this project, we also have quite an elaborate training plan for our farmers so that they get to understand how to operate and how to do irrigation farming.
The next phases of the project will include the construction of 2 dams that will increase the water supply, boosting agricultural produce, that will boost food security in the surrounding areas of Kiambu and Nairobi City.
As we proceed with this project, we also have quite an elaborate training plan for our farmers so that they get to understand how to operate and how to do irrigation farming.
The project is targeting to increase the number of farmers in the horticulture subsector.
Hapa Nairobi soko siko karibu, Githurai iko karibu, hapa Kenyatta Road Estate zimeanza kujengwa mpya. Kwa hivyo market iko hapa karibu.
For Lunchtime News, I am Hibak Said.
About 3,000 smallholder farmers in Nakuru have been enrolled in a training program on sustainable poultry keeping practices and production of feeds using locally available materials. The joint venture between the National Agricultural and Rural Inclusive Growth Project and the county government of Nakuru has facilitated the farmers to access to agricultural inputs affordably, high-yielding breeds and market linkages.
The National Agricultural and Rural Inclusive Growth Project and the county government of Nakuru have signed deals with various financial institutions and cooperative societies aimed at offering training and financing to smallholder poultry farmers within the devolved unit. Under the deal, 94.7 million shillings has so far been pumped into procurement of animal feed formulation machinery, incubators, standby generators, and other equipment for cooperative societies.
Tukapatiwa hii machine inaitwa mixture. Alafu tukapatiwa raw materials za kwanza. And more so, tukapatiwa masomo jinsi ya ku mix chakula.
The project development objective of NARIC is to increase agricultural productivity and profitability of the selected farmers in Nakuru County. In Nakuru County, we have funded a total of 212 poultry CIG groups to a tune of 83.5 million.
To boost production, the Nakuru County government is distributing 50,000 fertilized eggs to farmer groups. In addition, Kenya Agricultural Livestock Research Organization is offering improved indigenous chicken breeds that are high-yielding, fast-maturing, and disease-resistant.
The NARIC project has created very good synergies with our critical value chains in the county of Nakuru. Think about poultry. We have a large project within the county, what we call the Poultry Empowerment Program, where we give chicks to farmers and incubators.
The National Agricultural and Rural Inclusive Growth Project, which is a partnership between the national government and the World Bank, targets to boost agricultural production in Nakuru, Turkana, Makueni, Meru, Kitui, Embu, Kilifi, Kwale, Narok, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Trans Nzoia, Nandi, Vihiga, Kisii, Nyamira, Migori, Homa Bay, and Bungoma. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
And gas prices climbed on Tuesday on fears of the Ukraine-Russia crisis that is likely to disrupt supplies across the world. The price of Brent crude oil, an international benchmark, touched a 7-year high of more than $99 per barrel after President Vladimir Putin ordered troops into Ukraine's east. Here now are the details and other news-making headlines across the globe.
Prices later moderated despite Western countries responding with economic sanctions and moves to block a key Russian gas pipeline. After falling more than 1.5% in early trade on Tuesday, Wall Street turned up following remarks by US President Joe Biden outlining the US response. The Dow closed down 1.4%, however, while the wider S&P 500 slumped 1% and the Nasdaq fell 1.2%. Russia is the second largest oil exporter after Saudi Arabia and the world's top producer of natural gas. Measures forcing the country to supply less crude or natural gas would have substantial implications on oil prices and the global economy. Already rising oil prices have jumped more than 10% amid the tensions. Analysts are predicting oil could go above $100 a barrel due to a combination of the Ukraine crisis, cold winter in the US, and a lack of investment in oil and gas supplies around the world. Meanwhile, China's machinery industry recovered steadily over the past year, according to the latest data released by the China Machinery Industry Federation on Tuesday. The data shows that although the machinery industry in 2021 was affected by various difficulties, such as the epidemic, chip shortages, soaring raw material prices, and tight power supply, the economic operation of the entire industry was generally stable, and the annual increase in major economic indicators exceeds expectations. In 2021, the added value of China's machinery industry increased by 10% year-on-year, which rose 0.4 and 0.2 percentage points higher than that of the national industry and manufacturing industry in the same period. Finally, rising inflation led to government interest payments hitting a record high for the month of January, figures show. Interest payments hit £6.1 billion last month, the highest amount for January since records began in April 1997, and up from £4.5 billion last year. The payments are pegged to the retail price index measures of inflation, which reached 7.8% in January. January's interest payments were, however, below the all-time high of £9 billion in June last year. The surplus compares with a £2.5 billion deficit in January 2021, when spending on coronavirus support measures was higher. However, the latest figure is still £7 billion smaller surplus than in January 2020 before the pandemic.
Glad you're still with us. This is KBC. You're watching the Lunchtime News, and in today's edition of the County Fact File, we focus on County number 25, Samburu County. Richard Munga compiled these reports.
Samburu County, County 25, is located in the former Rift Valley province and covers a total land area of 20,182.5 kilometers squared. It shares its borders with four other counties: Marsabit to the north and northeast, Isiolo to the east, Turkana to the west and northwest, and Laikipia and Baringo to the southwest. Headquartered in Maralal town, Samburu County has a population of 310,327 according to the 2019 Kenya Housing and Population Census. The Samburu people are closely related to the Maasai, who mainly occupy the county. The Samburu rely on cattle as their source of livelihood. Their main food consists of maize, milk, and blood, a delicacy that the Maasai people enjoy. Other ethnic groups living in Samburu County include Rendile, Turkana, and the Borana. They rear cattle, donkeys, camels, as well as goats. Samburu County has three sub-counties, that is Samburu East, Samburu West, and Samburu North, covering the county's 21,000 kilometers squared. The county comprises three constituencies: Samburu West, Samburu North, and Samburu East, with 82,787 registered voters as per the 2017 Independent Electorate Boundaries Commission register. The main economic activities in the county are tourism, pastoralism, and commercial businesses. Samburu County is a paradise for travelers seeking fun, adventure, unique cultural experience, or just pure solitude off the beaten tracks and the fast lanes of urbanization. The nerve center of wildlife conservation and tourism in the North Rift region is Samburu National Reserve. It is home to herds of elephants incredibly pleasant to watch, especially when they converge at the Wasinyiro River in the late mornings to drink, bath and play. Samburu County government is headed by Governor Moses Kasaine Lenol Kulal, a member of the ruling Jubilee political party. Lenol Kulal was the first governor following Kenya's devolution to county administrations.
The Central Bank of Kenya will review the National Payment Strategies (NPS) Act of 2011 and the NPS Regulation of 2014 to enable the Apex Bank facilitate developments in the digital payments ecosystem. Central Bank of Kenya Governor Patrick Njoroge says the space is experiencing rapid changes and that there is a need to keep up with the e-commerce in upcoming payment strategies.
The government currently runs cash services on digital platforms, including the Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS, the Government Human Resource Information System, and the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Database, and the Kenya Revenue Authority's online tax filing system, known as iTax. But a review of the draft National Payment Strategy shows that the Central Bank of Kenya is angling itself for the digital payments era.
Technology and innovations present us with opportunities to address the frictions in payment systems. These include cost, convenience, ease of use, and more broadly, the customer experience.
The vision and the principles of this National Payment Strategy 2022-2025 are in conformity, they are in alignment with the wider government digital transformation agenda.
National Treasury PS Dr. Julius Muya says digital payments still face increasing risks, such as fraud, that the country will have to address. The proposed central bank digital currency has been welcomed as an innovation that will help deepen financial inclusion.
So supporting financial inclusion and innovations that benefit Kenyans, the last part of this strategy right here, is not only part of the National Payment System strategy, but it's also a part of the National Treasury's digital finance flagship policy under Kenya's third medium-term plan.
Statistics by the CBK shows that about 4.6 trillion shillings was transacted through mobile money platforms between January and November last year. Alan Auko, Lunchtime News.
The National Assembly is contemplating increasing the powers of the Planned Debt Management Authority. Legislators want to empower the authority to conduct feasibility studies for projects to be funded by loans. While debating the Debt Management Authority bill, the legislators said most projects funded by loans have minimal returns, which is making Kenya struggle with repayment plans.
Kenya's debt now stands at 7.7 trillion shillings, according to official data from the Central Bank of Kenya. In June this year, the National Assembly raised the debt ceiling to 9 trillion shillings, giving Treasury more rooms to borrow. The National Assembly now says most projects are funded by the loans have little returns due to poor feasibility studies.
Kenyan citizen, even a child born today, is indebted to a tune of 255,000, what is called debt per capita. Every Kenyan, Mr. Speaker, is indebted, let me repeat, to a tune of 255,000.
The National Parliament is now calling for complete independence of Debt Management Authority. The bill that seeks to establish the authority is poised to be read for the third time as it ages closer to becoming law.
Comes up with what we call an institutional framework on how to manage public debt. And why it is very important, Honourable Speaker, because one of the questions we have been asking ourselves over time is how much is our public debt as a country? You have seen this week, Honourable Speaker, where some are saying it's 11 trillion, others are saying it is 8.2 trillion,
The National Assembly wants the regulator to have PAS carry out feasibility studies for projects before they are budgeted for and loans approved.
Away from business news, a renowned youthful and anti-female genital mutilation crusader in Tana River County has vowed to economically empower and eliminate poverty among communities in the region. Sadia Sango Hussein, who was endorsed by elders and women leaders to contest for the Tana River County woman representative post, vowed to accelerate the war on female genital mutilation and gender-based violence as she promised to address the issue of climate.
In a colorful ceremony held at Gafuru Primary School in Tana River North Sub-County, Sadia Sango Hussein, an anti-FGM crusader, was endorsed by elders and women leaders to contest for the Tana River County women representative post in the August 9 polls.
Namna gani tuwezeshe mama mboga, namna gani tuwezeshe babodaboda, namna gani tunaweza kuwezesha kila mtu awe kufaidisha Tana River kwa ujumla bila kuangalia kabila.
Sadia, who is seeking to sit on a United Democratic Party ticket, vowed to economically empower and eliminate poverty among communities in Tana River once elected.
Tunachapa vyombo vya mahabari kwa sababu ya sijui ukame, njaa, ukisikia ngombe zimekufa zote utaona ni Tana River. Sahi wafugaji wamepoteza mifugo zao zote, na kama wamama ungekuwa kuna uwezo tungekuwa tumesonga mbele sana kimaendeleo.
Sadia received the Presidential Commendation Award during the Mashujaa Day celebration last year in Mombasa for her anti-FGM campaigns.
Kura inapigwa na wamama, wazee wanatuongezea tu. Mimi nasema kila mtu pahali anakaa, kama mtoto wako hana kura, hakikisha amepata kura.
Na tunashukuru na mumeanza mtindo ambaye ni mtindo mema, na mmeanza njia ambayo ni njia bora, na inshallah na sisi wanaume tutajitahidi tuunge mkono nyinyi na tutakuwa na nyinyi kusaidiana mambo yote.
During the ceremony, elders and women leaders called on Tana River residents to shun tribal voting, which they claimed has caused the county to lag behind in development and fight against corruption.
Hakuna jambo njema katika kujumuika kwa pamoja. Tuyasahau mambo ya ukabila, tujenge taifa moja, tujenge kaunti moja, tujenge constituency moja, tujenge ward moja.
Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
Let's get to the fields. Kenyan players registered mixed results as the curtains came down on the Parklands Open Squash Tournament at Parklands Sports Club in Nairobi. The one-week event, which attracted players from several African nations, saw 18-year-old Anna Maldi being the top-placed Kenyan after reaching the quarterfinals of the tournament.
National squash team head coach Prince Mukuka says the tournament gave a good platform to upcoming and experienced players to showcase their talents. 18-year-old Arna Maldi, who qualified to the quarterfinals of the tournament, is optimistic of making it to the Kenyan team for the Commonwealth Games slated for July 28th to 8th August in Birmingham, England. The Kenya Squash Association targets to use such tournaments to expose players and gain experience that would play a pivotal role in growing the standards of squash. The tournament was used to select players for national senior and junior teams ahead of the Commonwealth Games and African Youth Games, which are slated for August in Cairo, Egypt. Channel on Sports, I'm Laura Mwangi.
Two more Champions League round of 16 matches will be played tonight as English Premier League side Manchester United to take on Atletico Madrid, while Benfica will face Ajax. Meanwhile, Champions League holders Chelsea took control of their last 16 tie against Lille with a 2-0 victory at Stamford Bridge.
repeating it for the 16th time.
Defending champions Chelsea humbled friend side Lille 2-0 in their last 16.
Their chances now of dancing into the Villarreal.
Liverpool will be without Diogo Jota and Roberto Firmino against Leeds United at Anfield tonight as they race to close the 6-point gap between them and leaders Manchester City. Meanwhile, Tottenham Hotspur will face Burnley at Turf Moor as Watford host Crystal Palace. Liverpool have won their 3 most recent Premier League home games against Leeds, while Leeds are winless in 11 matches against Liverpool in all competitions. The visitors will be without the injured Patrick Bamford, Liam Cooper, Leo Helge and Calvin Phillips. It's a wrap on Channel 1 Lunchtime News, but it's not a wrap on political events taking shape here in the country. We have John Jacob Kuria in the county of Nyeri, where the Sagana 3 is taking place. President Uhuru Kenyatta is currently addressing opinion and political leaders at the Sagana 3 meetings. He is speaking in Kikuyu language. We'll be crossing there live when time allows us. And Nancy Okware is in the county of Makueni with the Kenya Kwanza delegation. Thank you so much for your feedback on our social media platforms. And this as we take note that the meeting at Sagana is taking place 167 days to the next general election, that is August 9th, and ODM will be conducting its National Delegations Convention on Friday the 25th at the Kasarani grounds. Jubilee will be conducting its NDC meeting on Saturday the 26th, and then the two will be holding a joint rally. Stay tuned on KBC Channel 1. My name is Irene Muchuma Odim. On sign language interpretation, we have Lansa Odingo on behalf of the entire team. Thank you for your time. God bless.
niwe kule karibu ili Babutunde akinihitaji mimi niwe wa msaada kwake.
Nimekataa, hakuna kwenda kijijini.
Wewe Tunde akuhusu nini wewe? Tunde babangu mimi.
Kwa hivyo pia unaona nilifanya makosa.
Hana haja na sisi.
No, let me have it.
No, Rogelio.
Come on, you.
No.
To talk to Mariela. Why should I get involved in this? He will only destroy Mariela's future.
Look at you. You're the good one. You're the patient one. You're the perfect one. Look at me. Take a look. The black sheep.
Did you by any chance have something to do with what Leonardo Del Rio was alleging a while ago?
I want you to know that I asked Mariela to marry me.
And I accepted. So Alonso and I are getting married very soon.
Lying heart.
Fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición.